What up, though? Boy, Mr. Say Less. We live and direct. You feel me? Had to do it this way because they harassing the nigga. You feel me? I had to do it this way because the feds done been in my house. The feds been in my house playing bugs and shit. Feel me? Tracking me, tracing me, recording my moves, harassing me and whatnot. So, like that. So, we live and direct with it. You feel me? Because it's an important episode. I mean, very important episode. Like, what up, those your boy Mr. Say Less, and we are live and direct, and this is In Real Life Podcast, Life with Two Eyes. Real conversations with a real individual. This is my first YouTube video. You know what I mean? Connecting the dots and whatnot. Feel me? But I figured my first episode should be, you know, a meaningful one, right? So, what's more meaningful than the feds invading your home and planting bugs in your home and violating your constitutional rights to be free from such intrusions as a citizen of this country? Like, is that not meaningful enough? I believe it is. And the reason I believe it is because I'm not a terrorist, nor am I a extremist, nor am I an international drug smuggler. You know what I mean? So, being that I'm none of these things, right? Why is it okay for members of law enforcement, government agents, right, to enter my home when I have a 1-month-old daughter and plant devices in my router and also my laptop that I'm recording on right now? Hopefully y'all getting all of this. And also my vehicles, and then to follow and track me in such a manner that is reminiscent of the movie Enemy of the State. Like, the level of
$4 or $5, you can combine real coffee
the level
flavor
of
with your favorite scoop of ice cream.
unwanted attention from law enforcement has been
small, medium, or large,
ridiculous. Like, ridiculoso, right? No exaggeration. When I traveled to Elizabeth, New Jersey to be a part of the nonviolence rally with the Black Youth Council Initiative, Brother Salam Ishmael, please excuse me if I'm mispronouncing the name. Now, as you can see, look, fuck niggas, right? So they follow me all the way to Elizabeth, about 7 cars deep. I mean, I done pulled them out on the highway, recorded them, right? Okay. Now, on my way back, they did the same thing. Feel me? There has been instances where my home security has been compromised at certain hours of the night. Well, actually, early hours of the evening and early time in the morning, like maybe 3-4 o'clock. This been going on for like a month now. I've been noticing, because for somebody like me who already has like anxiety and post-traumatic stress, and as it relates to dealing with the police, right? Because I've been abused by the police in the past, both as a juvenile and as an adult, right? Down prison and also in real life, like on the street. You know what I'm saying? So my issues with police are valid. They're deeply rooted in actual like issues, right? So when you have those kind of issues, naturally you conduct yourself in a certain kind of manner to prevent from certain encounters happening again. And that manner of conducting yourself is one of being vigilant. Like, vigilance is key to preventing yourself from becoming a victim of abuse. You know what I mean? You got to be vigilant and mindful of everything that you actually encounter and may be subjected to in your ins and outs, right? So, long story shorter, right? For the last month or so, they've been on my heels, right? Harassing me. They've been making me even appear to be delusional. You know what I mean? Because I'm pointing things out to my family members and loved ones, right? And I'm pointing these things out to them
Time price
without
three,
any
four,
kind of
or
like
$5. Only.
I'm pointing these things out to them without any like real receipt of validity, you know what I mean, on their behalf. Like motherfuckers think that that's just me being paranoid. Like I smoke too much weed, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that part. So there's a level of disbelief that is associated with it's a level of disbelief. I want y'all to get the merch. You feel me? Fuck 12 is a daily protest against abuse of authority and injustice in this country because they need to be daily reminded. You know what I'm saying? You see how this goofy nigga just had to come in and slide his car so like close, shit like that. Make me think you are working with the police. Like, I mean, because you shouldn't be all in my business in my vehicle. I'm in a public park minding my business. But that's what happens in this town in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, where, you know, the white people feel as though black people should still stay in their place. Like that's what it all stems from. I've actually had instances where, you know, I had ran into a situation at the stores here and the police would call to me for no reason. And even though it was no reason involved, like I was still treated like, you know, I wasn't supposed to be here. You know what I mean? Like you should be glad you know what I mean? White lady in Walmart out here told me go back to where I came from. Assistant manager John, you know, there's episodes, if you follow my podcast, assistant manager John has called the cops on me twice, getting me banned from there. The first time for expressing my concern for the closing of the main entrances during the pandemic because I felt like it violated the CDC guidelines, which suggest and promote social distancing as being one of the ways to, try to curb the pandemic, right? So cops were called on me as a result of that. Even though I explained to them that I was OSHA certified and I was expressing concern for myself and other customers who come there to spend their money. I'm expressing a concern as it relates to a store experience that could, because you got older customers that are very confused by the new policy, not informed, and that are very much inconvenienced. Yeah, them cops right there. They be in one of the vehicles that be following me around and shit. It's a few of them. They like to pose as regular citizens so they could monitor and violate you, right? But anyway, motherfucking in real life, these encounters with the police went kind of left out here because, like, you're not supposed to know your rights and all of that. So when the cops came the first time, it was okay. Walk wearing regular shit. I'm paying for my shit. I'm a paying customer, but these are my concerns. I shut him down. But the cop wasn't really. He didn't come with no aggression or nothing the first time. He wants to know why is the main entrance closed as well. He wants to know why is it locked because they expressed to me that it was unlocked and that it was being used as a fire exit. But I'm like, it can't be being used as a fire exit when it's actually barricaded and it's blocked and there's no like information for the customers to know that that's how it's functioning. And then I went on and asked them like, when you had to open your store, you were required to have these main entrances, right? And they agreed. All the customers actually agreed that the new policy of closing that door was bogus and it didn't fit the guidelines. But they kept saying it's a corporate decision. There's nothing they could do about it. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, as I was explaining to them, like, yo, shit blocked. It don't even meet the requirements. And I asked them, hey, doesn't your store have a requirement to have this main entrance? Like in order to function, right? When you were opening, like originally, you were opening as a store, right? They told you that you were required to have a certain amount of entrances, exits, main and fire emergency, right? So if you were required to have that, right, during a pandemic, if you were required to have that for ordinary operations during a pandemic, why is it then okay or socially distancing uh accordance, or why or how does it make any common sense to then close the actual main entrance, right? And force everyone to now go in and come out of one exit and entrance, which further congests traffic, right? Which further promotes the potential for the spread of the virus, which we're supposed to be preventing, right? If I'm not mistaken. But me sharing my concerns in that regard got the police called on me, right? Now when the cops got called on me, right? Guess what? He came. It was discovered that the door was locked, so it couldn't have been operating as a fire exit. So that was lie number one. He wanted to know why the door was closed to begin with, right? So that's failure to inform and implement a policy in accordance with whatever the rules are, because common sense shit, right? All right, so anyway, right? Long story shorter, the motherfucking cop comes, take a report. I make a formal complaint. I call corporate. Somebody hit me from corporate like, yo, that wasn't, our policy. Is not to treat our customers like that. We're going to address it. Bet. All right, so now, fast forward about a month or so later, I go back in there, right? I want to know why was the cops called on me before. I have that right because as a paying customer, I have a concern about my experience in your store where I come to spend my money. So therefore, I asked the employee there that was monitoring the self checkout area, could she go and summon who I learned to be store assistant manager John, who called the cops on me, so that I can then ask him, why did you call the cops on me? You know what I'm saying? So eventually he comes by, I stop him, and I say, John, listen, I would like to know, why is it that you called the cops on me? Oodles and noodles, boy, for real, stop playing. Like, why did you call the cops on me, right? So he's like, oh, well, he back and forth, shuffling, shucking, jiving with no real information for your boy, right? Trying to dodge the question. So I'm like, he act like he didn't know what I was referring to. You know what I'm saying? So I reminded him, I said, yo, was this situation when y'all closed the door, the main exit, I expressed concern about it being closed without proper notification and adequate accommodations to, better assist the situation and see guidelines, etc. Right? He said, hold on, I'm going to go get my boss. Maybe they can answer for you. He called the cops on me again. They came very aggressive this time, chest all poked out. Yeah, sir. I'm like, oh, bro, first of all, you're here to investigate. You're not going to address me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like in an aggressive manner, you don't know what's going on yet. If you want to hear my side, holler at me accordingly. Your job and obligation requires that you conduct yourself with respect and professionalism. The way you came here just now wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? So after checking them and getting through all the sarcasm and whatnot that comes with that, right? It was ultimately discovered that store manager John decided to call the cops on me again for no reason. And then I asked them what was the reason. No reason was given. Then I was also informed that I was banned from this store, right? So I asked them, did they understand that what they was doing was discrimination? You know what I'm saying? And that I was a black man in the store expressing concern for myself and other customers. And you guys actually are discriminating against me right now. And at that juncture, when I made that clear to them, the cops tried to pivot from the situation. The cops try to pivot in a fashion like the cops try to pivot like this, right? They like, oh well, we're just here to investigate a crime or complain of. I'm like, yeah, well, in your investigatory capacity, right? Isn't it true that you didn't discover anything that you were looking to discover as it relates to the complaint that you received? And then now, isn't it your obligation to take my complaint as it relates to the calling of the police on black people for no reason in this state by this establishment, which is the third time actually that has happened? They wouldn't take my complaint as it relates to that. You know what I'm saying? However, had I been in the wrong as it relates to my conduct in that establishment, right? They were prepared to lock me up. So why is it so easy for you to lock me up for asserting my right to be treated with respect when I come to spend my money in an establishment, right? But when it comes to providing justice for me, when it relates to discrimination while spending my money in these said establishments, I can't get no service there, right? So that's been the vibe out here in the city where I live at in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Had to make sure the merchandise was accurately displayed. But yeah, that's the vibe that I'm dealing with out here in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. And it's very disheartening because I'm out here paralegaling. I'm in school for paralegal. So, you know what I mean? I'm providing service to, whoever I can, right? However I can, free of charge. Guys call me from federal institutions, state institutions. I provide service to them free of charge. Queens Quality Services, LLC, paralegal consultant. Get with me, 610-295-3662. That is my number. If you need assistance with voter registration, if you need assistance with housing, social services, all of that, I do this. This is the service that I provide to my people free of charge. You know what I'm saying? Now, while I'm out here mobilizing and providing this service in this area where the black people aren't necessarily represented collectively, there's a lot of resistance that's being met by even some of the black community. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they more or less rather shoe shuffle around than assert their rights to be respected. And I am not a passive protester. My protests, fuck 12, fuck oppression, injustice, mass incarceration, inequality, inhumane treatment in these institutions, DIFUS, abuse of authority, taking kids out their homes and putting them through traumatic situations that they never repaired from. I'm a spokesman for that because I've been through that. You know what I'm saying? Abuse of authority in the form of categorizing and classifying somebody a threat to themselves and others so that you can house them in a mental institution and mistreat them in retaliation and drug them up and strap them down and abuse them. I have been a victim of that. You know what I'm saying? So this protest, fuck 12, right? This line is a daily reminder that there is an injustice that faces non-whites on a regular basis. That's the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? That's the bottom line about why there needs to be a daily reminder to society about the failed promises and failed corrections of treatment of black people and non-whites in this country. Like, why is it so quick for you to steal from us the equality and justice that we deserve, but then it's so hard for you to return that shit? Like, everybody knows it's wrong. Everybody knows it's a fucking problem, but who's doing something about it? Nobody. In real life, my nigga, like we in a time where we don't have a lot of options. We're responsible about the decisions that we make. because the decisions we make affect more than just us. That's why anything that I do, like as it relates to like mobilizing and unifying and providing insight, it's a actual service that I feel is required by every individual, man. If we want to actually see some change in this society, real quick. Excuse me, you got a minute? Want to ask you something? You got a minute? See, that is the kind of treatment black people get out here from the Hispanic community. That's why I come here every Sunday, right? To try to bridge that gap between Spanish, Latin, and blacks, because collectively we can create a dialogue, right? That our collective concerns, right? And our collective our collective needs are met. You know what I mean? As opposed to there being so much divisive. More and more businesses are using apprenticeships to create and maintain a talented workforce, motivated employees who you train your way. For more information, yeah. So I want to get a good look at the joggers that's coming through. They're actually police. You know what I'm saying? They never in this park jogging. You know what I mean? Ever. Say cheese. But anyway, I'm gonna wait for some of my other Hispanic comrades to come. They about to have a soccer game. That's what I'll be out here doing. Working out, watching the soccer game, right? Trying to bridge the gaps and shit. But it's a hard task when you already being harassed and being targeted by federal agents and local government officials and state officials who plant bugs in your car and in your laptop. Bugs in here. You know what I'm saying? I demonstrated it on my live yesterday, Facebook. Say Les Montana, get with me. But anyway, yeah, in real life, like I've already been I've already had the confirmation of there being listening devices throughout my house and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But in my efforts to overcome all of that, the bottom line is that I'm trying to communicate a idea of change that actually works. You know what I mean? Because the presidential election is very important. However, it's the House and the Senate that actually make shit happen, right? They are the ones that approve and deny all of the ideas and all of the, endeavors that the president might have. Case in point, get y'all a history lesson, current history, right? As I light this motherfucking blunt up, right, and get ready to inhale some of, the best weed that I could find, right? I want y'all to understand something. President Obama could do nothing without the approval of the motherfucking House and Senate representatives, who were, by the way, Republicans. They already said, we're not going to let this man do anything. Yet, when he's not able to do anything, you blame the president and not the House representatives, your Senate. Those are the guys that you need to focus on. Those are the ones that write the laws, the crime bills, and pass them through. Yeah, all that shit they talk about Biden did, he did it when he was still in the House and Senate of Congress. You know what I mean? Like he was a representative in Congress when he did that. You gotta watch these congressional representatives, man, more than the fucking president, bro. Because the congressional representatives are the ones that push the agenda. Period. They're the ones that hit passes, unless it's a filibuster or unless, but then the politics get real dirty because now they gotta amend some shit and add some shit and compromise to get the bill passed so both sides can have some type of, representation. But all of that happens below and around the president. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we need to get Trump ass up out of here, but more importantly, we need to get the motherfuckers out of the House and Senate, bro. Like all of them pussies, all of them. Even the Republicans. I ain't no Republican. I ain't no Democrat. I am a motherfucking independent. You know what I'm saying? I'm a realist. You know what I mean? I'm a proactive community activist. You know what I'm saying? I'm somebody who is concerned with the legacy that I leave behind for my children, man. I ain't with the politics because I ain't a politician. I was trying to wait until I had the proper ambiance for y'all in order to shoot my live. Feel me? But cause I was about to get my shit. I was gonna steal Lil Wayne Tunchi whole little setup. That shit is the dopest. Shout out to him. I fuck with Tunchi to the max. You know, we big whoopers on this side. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, the House, right, and Senate, as it relates to the effect on black people, right? We don't have representation there. We got Cory Booker. We just lost a good brother, and we lost a good brother, like that the civil rights activist that we lost a few months back. Do your research. I ain't here to like actually give you all of the information. Do your research, but we don't have representation, you know what I'm saying, in the House. And that is important because that is where the laws and rules are made. You know what I'm saying? Like Cory Booker is who I'm going to send my formal complaint to because he's the representative of New Jersey as it relates to the Congress for the district that he represents. You know what I'm saying? That is what you got to be familiar with because that is where all of the keys are. You know what I'm saying? And being informed is as easy as congressional representatives of New Jersey. That's it. Like Google is your best friend. I love Google, even when she ain't working properly. You know what I'm saying? John Lewis was the congressman that I was referring to, and I'm saying his name because I'm looking up Cory Booker, but his name just popped right up. So let's give a little history lesson on Congressman John Lewis for those of us that aren't as informed. John Robert Lewis was an American statesman and civil rights leader who served in the United States House of Representatives for Georgia's 5th Congressional District from 1987 until his death in 2020. He was the chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee from 1963 to 1966, courtesy of Wikipedia. He was born February 21st, 1940 in Alabama, and he died July 17th, 2020, Atlanta, Georgia. He was buried on July 30th. His spouse is Lillian Miles. She passed away 2012. Rest in peace. Uh, that brother, he fought for us, man, and he marched for us. He bled for us. You know what I mean? Like so many others. You know what I mean? And like Elijah Cummings. Elijah Eugene Cummings was born American political and civil rights activist who served in the United States House of Representatives for Maryland 7th District Congressional District from 1996 until his death in 2019. He was born January 18th, 1951, Baltimore, Maryland, and he died October 17th, 2019. His spouse, May Rockmore Cummings, Joyce Cummings, both deceased, and children, Jennifer Cummings, Adia Cummings. I mean, we don't have a lot of people fighting for us, man. And I feel like I gotta fight for us, and I will die about that shit gladly to fight for us. Because if there's a way for me to secure the future of my child and her children, then like, what's death? You born to die. You know what I'm saying? But I bet you I leave a legacy that she could build upon that will create change for everybody involved. Like, I would gladly die a martyr, right? In order to effectuate the change that my people actually need. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that kind of extremism. Like, if the police decide to kill me, to silence me and my message of unification and self empowerment and self enlightenment and self ownership, then I'm ready to go, because Allah is the best of planet. I fear Allah. That's it. No man, no woman. I fear Allah. That's all. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. I mean, I was trying to start a program called Bridging the Gaps, right? And I was going to bring in a lot of my guys, nonprofit wise, right? And it costs $850 to file. So I asked a couple of my guys to contribute that I thought would be the heads of it with me, but nobody was willing to contribute. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was willing to contribute to a program designed to bridge the gaps and provide the community with the services that they are lacking in, that we can't count on nobody else to give us, because they're giving us nothing freely, guys. Nothing. Nothing. I mean, that $1,200 check, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, how in the fuck do I owe anyone anything that already owes me? Like, let's talk about it, right? If you owe me reparations, right? How is it that I owe you educational expenses, medical expenses, housing costs, taxes? The fuck? How is that possible? It's possible when you're non-white in America. That's a fact. You know what I mean? Like, in real life, in America, like, America is the only country that can invade other countries and demand that they implement a democracy of fairness that they don't even practice themselves in their own democracy, in their own country. Like, why aren't other countries holding America accountable for not treating their people accordingly? Only people holding us accountable for the treatment of our people is like Africa and naturally maybe France. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, no one holds America accountable because they scared. They scared of that smoke. Like, feel me? Especially when you got this racist ass propaganda president who doesn't seem to have any kind of concern with leading the country in the direction of equality and humanity. Like, everything got to start with humanity. You're like, for instance, when I'm done smoking and I'm done on this live, right? I'm gonna uh I'm gonna pull up on that cop, you heard, that's parked down there, and I'm gonna ask him, why is it that how and why is it that people can come up to my home, right? And plant bugs, bypass my ring security system by uh fucking with the electrical equipment that's in my plant bugs in my vehicle in my house, come into my house while me and my wife and my child is sleeping. She's a month old, right? Creep through my house, put me and my family in a potentially fatal situation due to the fact that I'm going to be uh under the impression that I'm dealing with an intruder in my home who has to be law enforcement, government agencies violating my constitutional rights by planting devices in my home. So now I got to deal with that, right? And then if I mishandle the situation, right, and I become a victim of your abuse of authority, right, and your over policing, and I die, there still will be no justice for my family, for me. I.e. Breonna Taylor. And no, I am not using that situation as a crutch, catalyst, or none of that. I am just stating facts in real life because I have absolutely irrefutable evidence that government officials have been in my home planting devices. I have evidence of it. You know what I'm saying? I've been studying criminal justice and criminal law and just law, period, for the last 30 plus, no, I'm going to say 20 plus years. My apologies. Since I've been getting in trouble, right? I'm kicking 40 in the ass real fast. You hear me? And I ain't ashamed of that because I wasn't supposed to be here past 20. So, with that being said, right? Like, I've been studying this law shit for as long as I've been getting in trouble about it. You know what I mean? And my understanding of the law leads me to believe that I got certain rights and protections. You feel me? That will preclude them from treating me as if I'm some type of terrorist, foreign nationalist, or some shit where they can invade and intrude upon my home, have uh, have people come into my home and impede upon the rights that I am actually supposed to be. I'm supposed to be afforded in real life. I mean, I'm actually being denied every basic liberty that is associated with uh, a gentleman such as myself. You know what I mean? See, now I gotta secure my Facebook account because it's been compromised. Somebody changed my passcode 2 days ago, which is probably how they've been keeping me from get on my shit. But that's what I'm saying. Like they was on my fucking internet router, bro. So they got all of my personal information, codes and whatnot. So they manipulating everything. Like them niggas shut my debit card down the other day when I went to go pay for my new phone. In real life. In real life, y'all. I mean, it's bigger than black and white when you like have a whole fucking government just violating your rights with impunity. Or some G shit though. Like I am not a passive individual. So yeah, clean some shit up. A lot of shit on my page, like you know what I mean, I gotta Yeah, that's all screen. Yo, why we going through all this though, like in real life, though? Like, fuck all that. In real life, so yeah. Gang shit. My nigga Herb will be going crazy though. Shout out to my boy motherfucking Rose and that motherfucking ghost. That phantom looking thing. Congrats, my boy, that shit clean. But nah, in real life, my nigga, like when you got a whole government sitting here oppressing you, like, how do you win? I mean, you win by documenting and also investigating, right? And informing yourself, right? And then asserting your right to be respected by way of civil litigation. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what they doing right now is some bullshit. Every day I'm learning something new, or I'm trying to. If I ain't distracted by a whole bunch of extra shit, feel me? Like I got ADHD, you know what I mean? I got anxiety, post-traumatic stress associated with being subjected to abuse of authority. You know what I'm saying? Excessive force. Like I was jumped down to prison where I wasn't even supposed to be. You can turn me up a little bit. Got a thing for yourself. Stop holding niggas down offshore. Well, acting. Get caught myself. I'm 22 and facing 10. You gotta talk to the judge. You had to bring your mama crib. Pay the apartment and smell. Watch for the D's. The block on fire. Like that work. Shout out to my nigga East. This shit crap. Pull out. I was just about to put the Karma 3 on when I grabbed the phone with Law. That's why I grabbed it for. This nigga different, like respect that nigga East, man. Big blood shit too, like fuck with my look though. You was really there. It wasn't Photoshop. Watch how you talk. I was really there. You dreaming about that Audemars. You hope the cop. You keep you a hustle. Whether you broke or not. You keep you a hustle whether you broke or not. Ooh. My hands don't touch the light of this. Look how far we came, now we can turn around. I've seen too many that they make it out. Look at this. Never let this bitch up on no cloud on my list. Flamulous. First I match the winner, young nigga do it. They so curious. Whoever criticize, just counting my blessings. I got my freedom, and I'm still alive. Focused on the finish line. I done said this over 1,000,000 times. You follow niggas, now you a gangster. I'll never feel your crimes. Margarita second, I've been feeling fine. Already in my section, why you still in line? Trolling till you get hit on live. The scary part about it, I ain't in my prime. Niggas take you rolling, call it still in time. Landlord, the building mine. Talk about design and shit, we all wear it. So because I'm black, right? Because I assert my rights, be respected. Because I protest and I ain't apologetic. You get to come to my house playing bugs and shit. With the cooperation of my neighbors and local law enforcement who refused to come out to the house when we first reported it. They just took the SD card out of my camera this morning. Just this morning. You keep you a hustle whether you broke or not. You keep you a hustle whether you broke or not. What's that to me that they want for Tucci and G? There's no song from my loved ones. We keep score, you know I'm a song. Trust us. Want that bitch champagne, I sip on my bar. You went and got it when it was done. Thankful for my daughter, I got love some. Somebody gotta be there, I got girls come. Roof the floor, my window, so on and so far. I'm the perfect nigga for the shot, and she like no boy. Jumping off that jet, bitch like I think that's no boy. I spit this burger shit, and you do it till you go. So I got real when they gon' die for me, oh, give me. Normally they stay the whole game. All we know is nothing ain't no other way for me. I can tell his face, so keep your never wait for me. Pulled off. Shipping in my food, vision in the cold, vision in my juice. Check out feelings from my old girl. Shot her then she holds some. It's on my own girl. Try to be optimistic, I be ready in my own world. Anyway, normally they would stay the whole game, but they haven't because they know, or they probably heard that I was about to pull up on them and dress that shit. But either way, it's gonna be addressed. So. It's a public park. I'm smoking in my car. Minding my business. That all these Hispanic people feel as though they could pass judgment on me. I'm still off the purpose, sit down, take a few pills. I'm comfortable with shit I need to do still. Sliding through the trenches, I keep two shooters on standby. Smoking, reminiscing on the day I watched my man die. Social kept it anti, and he paid off for that ran mine. Cause I used to scan mine, do this shit for my grandma. Playing ball and check it up. I do this for the brodies, lost their life. I pray they resting up. Wish I could take that ride with a Fuck 12, we ain't confessing nothing. Rather die with them. It's all in the eyes, Chico. They never lie. Never been tired of just waiting. I really despise probation. Nipsey provided greatness. I'm sipping in moderation. We really get treated filthy. The system gotta be raised. We die for this occupation. See drama inside our faces. I'm about to so far from living average. I see my start this complaint that I gotta file. You know what I mean? Mama told me, babe, slow it down. I just want to go faster. I'm thinking, Lee, how you down? Me, nigga, I had so much to ask you. So much. We was 19, bringing mad dog. We just wanted some action. 2020. Before we ever heard about a virus, we was running with masks. Block 40 when I go to sleep, kept it under my mattress. This lifestyle that I'm living now, I just wanted to have. I go to Dallas, they treat me like one of the Mavericks. I'm watching my body, I order the salad. This shit is so automatic. Never no fear in my heart. Anything you ask me for, you can have it. I go where I go, see what I see. Come take a walk with the man. I be like that cool, that bitch you brain. So, my computer acting very dumb. You got me real if you don't trust my language. We been chillin' through hell, don't think you know me too well. Still got my Jones, I identify with you well. Her don't be no on, yeah, don't be no on, yeah. I'm still off them purpose, except now I take a few pills. I'm comfortable with shit I need to know still, yeah. I mean, you can't sit around and just complain about what's going on. You gotta actually do something about it. You know what I mean? For a spiced up version of McDonald's, it's only a certain way you can protect yourself from certain intrusions and certain violations because, like, okay, this how devious these motherfuckers is, right? I'm gonna share some with y'all. This how devious they are. Because I have a mental health disability, right? And they know that. They know that I have certain mental health issues that would cause me to appear to be less than rational, right? So they're hoping to exploit that, right, by way of their violations so that no one will then believe that said violations are taking place. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, right, I have to be even more vigilant, right, in my attempts to not only protect myself from a setup, right, protect myself from a setup, right, protect myself from a fatal encounter, and also protect my family in the interim, right? So this is all something that a person dealing with anxiety, depression, PTSD has to deal with right now in a current pandemic with regular financial and other issues, right? Without falling victim to the demons that exist inside, right? Because it's easy to, let's be real, it's easy to be who we are, right? I'm a demon, like savage demon. You know what I mean? Like, and niggas know that. Feel me? However, I haven't been on that shit since I've been on that shit. Feel me? Because there's a reason for everything. You know what I mean? It's never indirect. So it's like they know that too. Where I'm at, it's Muslims out here, right? From the land, and they see a nigga like me who got that focus, that energy, that assertiveness. They naturally want to monitor and make sure of no interactions, and ultimately, if they feel they need to, like physically prevent any potential connections being made for fear of potential extremism. That is the key component to why they are currently violating me in the way that they are. They feel as though I have extremism potential, and I am in the potential to also influence and lead others, right? Because I am someone of standard character. Like, I have a certain standard. You know what I mean? My character is not questioned. Got principles, and I also have morals. I don't compromise with. So it's like they know that about me already because I done been to the dark and I came back to life on my own with my honor and integrity intact. I walked back from a life sentence, 100 and something sentence, like nigga said 140 some years is exposure. I said, well, listen, you're gonna have to find me guilty on everything and sentence me to an extended term on everything. And I don't think you're going to be able to do that because your cops are dirty. And I know what I did and I know what I didn't do. So I'm willing to fight for my right to be treated accordingly because guess what? I'm willing to take responsibility for what I did because guess what? I don't do co-defendants. So I can take responsibility for me. However, I would like to be treated fairly about it. They didn't want to treat me fairly about it. So I ended up fighting my cases, 8 individual indictments, ultimately facing over 140 years, right? With a lawyer who then decided that he was actually a pool attorney for which I shouldn't have to been paying him shit. But this how slimy shit get, feel me? I need extra shit done and I need it done in a timely fashion because the public defender office, right, that pays for a pool attorney services such as investigations and all of that, right? Paperwork copies and all of that has to approve everything you ask for. So I'm like, listen, this is what I need. Here's the bread. How at the investigator do that. But as bread slows up, you know what I'm saying, moves can't get made. Now superseding indictment. Oh, you tried to have attempted murder on a witness tampering and right? All that shit come into play. Now I'm down Trent State Prison, looking at all that time. being housed on the maximum control unit, which is MCU, where they house all of the management control guys that are already sentenced though, unless they have reasons to be considered people of influence and power and etc. who need to be isolated from the ordinary general population. And that's where they had me at, fighting for my life with no assistance from no attorney, with no assistance from the law library, because I couldn't go, because I couldn't interact with the population there. However, I was able to interact with another inmate on the unit there who came from out of his cell and into my cell with a broomstick held over his head and hit me in the back with the broomstick, right? On the management control unit where there's cameras and 24-hour surveillance, and there's a padlock gate here, it's a padlock gate there. But I was able to be the victim of orchestrated assault in such a fashion that is the subject of ongoing litigation as we speak. And that was done while I was still a pretrial detainee, right? Which ultimately meant that I was not even sentenced, or I was a regular civilian, right? Being housed there because I wasn't like convicted of anything yet. But I had to file my own lawsuit, right? And assert my right to be respected in that regard, right? But I came back from that, right? I got it. I blew trial on my drug case and got in that law library like I lived in. Uh, oh my God. This shit ridiculous right here. Hold up. I think some people need to hear that. To be honest, I don't care about your opinion. Where the check be? I put her out and didn't call her to the next week. Your baby mama said your pussy is a deadbeat. And I just spent 300 on my neck piece. You know how it came, so you know how I'm coming. Rich on number something with the East St. Laurent. Duff, you be killing it, man, the way you put that shit on. Gold chain, gold glasses, prime time like Dion. You a square, you ain't never fucked a bitch in a dope house. 40 P's in the sofa, that's a dope. Wow. I could never cross my niggas out for no amount. No, free all of my niggas to the young bitch. Came a long way from we was living in the shit. They ain't even let me do my thing, yo. Nothing like when the fuck do you expect? I don't care about your opinion, where the check. To be honest, I don't care about your opinion, where the check. To be honest, I don't care about your opinions, where the check. Hey. Remember when a nigga like did not have shit. Didn't even have no toilet tissue for when I took the shit. Now when I wake up, look in the mirror, I can't believe this. I got an eating habit like Cletus. Whole lot of bread every season. Okay. Smoking weed and laughing like I'm Beavis. Pull up in the devil, I mean a demon. Trigger finger itch, just give me a reason. Whoa. Cut dope, nigga, all my niggas breathing. Her titties big, then I suck them like I'm teething. Still got the plug on the mid in Phoenix. Yeah, I'm blessed. Came a long way from we was living in the chicks. I told you I was a dog, baby, when we first met. Told you nothing like the rest, so what the fuck did you expect? To be honest, I don't care about your opinion, where the chick. To be honest, I don't care about your opinion, where the chick. All right, so what we have going on here, look. See that? Look, see that? Now, I'm sitting here trying to type that email I was talking about, right? And for whatever reason, I got like 6 window documents open, blank, new documents, but my keypad not working at all. And that's evidence of, what I told y'all. I'm gonna try to shut everything close.